Welcome to Spiritually Raw. We expose and explore controversial truths, myths, and theories surrounding the spirit world. Guests includes investigators, debunkers, and skeptics of the supernatural, unexplained, and flat-out unimaginable. Content discussed on this show is not necessarily the opinion of the cast of Spiritually Raw, and topics quite often are for mature audiences only. This show is not intended to replace any medical, financial, or legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Spiritually Raw. And as always, thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today. And we hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are also having the most fortunate day today. All right, this is a super cool topic. I'm so fascinated by this always. Most of you really are. All of us really are. Walk-ins and soul exchanges explained by our soul sister, Sheila Seppi. She's going to share with us her knowledge about this, what's going on, and what she's learned in her lifetime to hopefully give us some insight on how we can have a better journey in our lifetime too, and find out what this phenomenon of a walk-in and soul exchange really means. So thanks everybody for always hanging out with us as you always do. Sheila's links will be in the description below. So again, you can find out more about her works and how she can help you on your journey. And all of our links again will be there to Telegram, yes?
Yes, for those of you that have not yet connected with us on Telegram, please do so. All the links are in the show description. That's really where we post all of our live shows. And as soon as any show comes out, it's the easiest way. If you'd like to contact us, do it through Telegram. It's very, very simple. And please do take a quick second from wherever you're watching the show. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. And we would greatly appreciate it. All three of us would greatly appreciate if you share the show. All right, so let's get rolling. Okay, so Sheila Seppi, she's the founder of the Conscious Awakening Network, the Galactic Alliance, Spirit Way Wellness. She's an international speaker, healer, multidimensional life coach, regression therapist, shamanic practitioner, and she's also the author of Walk-ins, The Cosmology of the Soul. How do I know the soul exchanges are real? Because it happened to me, which is her. That's coming from her words. So, you know, this is always such an intriguing topic.
It's pretty cool.
It is such an unusual situation. And it's got to be like literally an experience of a lifetime. Really excited to get and to share it with others, because I don't think you're alone. I think there are a lot of other people. I don't know about a lot of other people, but there are other people out in the world that have probably had this experience, and they could be like not even understanding what on earth is really going on. So with that being said, let's get rolling.
Yeah, let's start with the basics of this. So first of all, if you could welcome, and then first of all, can you share with us, just for people tuning in, checking you out for the first time, a walk-in? Can you give us what that broad brush definition of a walk-in from your perspective is?
Sure. I'd like to start this by saying, though, if this had not happened to me, I would not have believed it possible.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing. But a soul exchange walk-in is literally what it sounds like when one soul leaves the body and another soul comes in. Now, you could look at this as an instantaneous like a past life, or some people call that, or you could look at it as a after death experience. You could look at it as a near death experience. You could look at it as a reincarnation. A lot of people have a different viewpoint, but literally it's when one soul leaves the body and another one enters.
And why would that happen?
It can happen through a variety of reasons. The number one reason is, prior to our incarnating, there is a pre-birth plan that's developed where we sit down with our guides, we talk with our multidimensional aspects, and we really decide what it is that we want to achieve in our upcoming incarnation. And so it may be, like in my case, I did not need to go through the birth and the toddlerhood and the even the early adulthood. I needed a adult form, and that's what I came into. Some people only need a short amount of time for an experience. They may only need a toddler experience, and then they leave and another soul comes in. So a soul exchange or a walk-in can occur at any time throughout anyone's life.
Now,
And of
that's
course,
very,
Who was she?
I've never heard, I never even thought about what you said, the reverse. You didn't need the toddler and youth experience. You needed the adult experience, which is really very interesting. So when did this occur? Did the walk-in exchange happen when you were young?
No, I was 38 years old, and prior to this experience, I was a very sick person because, and I'm going to share this with you, but I want to back up and say that a lot of times during illness or trauma, during maybe even an operation, an automobile accident, a walk-in will occur. And in my case, my body, the form was very, very sick. And literally, I believe that form died and another one came in because I had been diagnosed with bone cancer, brain tumors, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I used to walk with a cane. I had erythema nodosum and sarcoidosis. I mean, the list just went on, and these symptoms began in my 20s and were continuing, and some of them would clear up and go away, but then something else would take its place. And so my health was on a downward spiral, and I had recently received a diagnosis of the early beginnings of RA. So I was taking a lot of Celebrex, a lot of medications, and when you have 3 children and you feel like this, you know, it kind of wears on you, not to mention having a dysfunctional marriage, a high, you know, visibility profile job, doing a lot of things. And, you know, it was just too much, I believe, for the other soul. Plus, I believe that everything that she needed to accomplish, or that aspect of the soul needed to accomplish, was accomplished. And so when the soul cried out to be released, then I'm the aspect that came in.
So your predecessor before you, do you, when you came in, were you able to take on any of the characteristic traits? Are you similarly designed, if you would, to take on the same traits, so that the children, the spouses, the loved ones necessarily maybe say, something's a little different, but they don't have a dramatic effect? Or was it a simple, like, who are you now?
And where did my mother go?
Right.
The kids were young. And so all of a sudden, their sick mother was able to get off the couch and play with them. So to answer your question, everything about me changed, and everybody noticed. I lost every friend that I had. Family members thought I was losing my mind. And within 3 months, I had left this dysfunctional marriage. And so when I came in, I only retained very few memories of the other soul. I had a few memories of the children. I had a few memories of, you know, my parents. That was about it.
What
and
about
over
There's so much material here.
This is a great topic. But you already know that, don't you?
So when this exchange happened and you had very little memory, how were you able to care for your children? Like, in terms of, I'm sure at that point they had to go to school, they had to go to nursery school, they had their own little agendas, they had a feeding program. How did that all work?
Were you attached to them? Like, were you emotionally there with them? You were.
Yes, with my children. My children and my parents are the only emotional attachment that I came in with, and everything else, I have developed relationships with other members of the family, but you know, that was a struggle. You know, it was a real struggle, and I became very adept at deflecting. People would ask me a question, and then I might say, oh yeah, that sounds great. Now, when have you had that much fun? And what have you been doing? And, you know, so I would deflect things, but people started to catch on. You know, they would just look at me and they're like, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Did they think you had amnesia?
No, but my mother sat me down on the couch and she said, I think that it's time that you go have a medical exam, because we believe you've got the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. Your grandfather had it, and we think you have it. And I'm like, let me tell you my side of the story, you know. And so it was a very interesting conversation, but one that was taken pretty well. And you know, it's not something that I go around flashing to all my family, although, you know, once the book came out, there wasn't too much that you could hide. And then with social media, you know, people found out. But I have not retained any of the previous relationships.
Did your mother, when you sat her down and told her your version of the story, did she look at it as like the death of her daughter and someone else had come into this body? Or how was she able to process this in a sense of like, well, that's not who I gave birth to? Did she look at it that way, or what did that look like?
I've noticed so much is that the intuition that I am receiving on a daily basis, the messages are so clear, and they come in like, you hear a lot of people talking about, I get a download of this and a download of that. And that is the God's honest truth. Messages are just literally flooding in because the pineal gland is being decalcified. And